Hey guys, welcome to the 2019 Kia K900. So this is an interesting car. There's a lot of fun stuff to poke around in here, and I wanted to take you on a tour around this, go for a drive today, give you some of my first impressions on what this has been like to live with. This is just around $64,000. This is the luxury VIP package, 3.3 liter twin turbo V6. Making 365 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque. Pretty powerful unit. Same engine that's in the Kia Stinger GT. We have the very similar Stinger GT key fob here with the detonator button for the lock button here. Pretty conservative design on the outside. And big luxury car proportions and size. This thing is pretty big. It's a decently sized sedan. It's priced a little bit more towards the BMW 5 Series, maybe even a BMW 3 Series that's fully loaded. And it comes in about 20 to 30 grand cheaper than the Audi A8 and the BMW 7 Series and the S-Class. But it offers a lot of the same features. So think of it as kind of bargain luxury, however you want, or just an upgrade for someone who maybe doesn't want to spend as much on their German car, but still get a lot of the same comforts and amenities, as well as a 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. Some manually operated window shades there. Now in the back seat, this is kind of where a lot of the action happens. There's many fun things to do back here. You have wireless charging. You can control your seating position from these knobs, and you can even control the front passenger seat. Give yourself a little bit more room if you want. Electronically operated window shade back there. You can control the climate control, heated, cooled seats. Even the sound system can be operated back here. Finally, we have a car that fits our sound test string quartet, Etude number 3. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. This kind of reminds me a lot of the original Hyundai Equus. And I just thought that was kind of the coolest car because it was one of the first press cars I ever tested. And there's just a lot of fun things to do in this. And as we'll see in a little bit, it drives pretty well. And there's also a lot to do in the front too. We have some pretty cool tech up here. Kia's fantastic infotainment. There's this massive screen that can operate as a touchscreen or a wheel that can kind of move around pretty easily. One of the best in the business. It is so easy to use and operate. Apple CarPlay is it's probably one of the best iterations of Apple CarPlay I've seen. You can operate it manually. You can kind of go through here and see a massive screen for Waze. This is great. It's so sharp, it's so clear, it's nice and bright. You can see it in the middle of the daytime. And then you have these digital gauges here that change with your various drive modes. There's all this funkiness that goes on when you switch into sport mode. Your seat bolsters tighten up a little bit. Eco has a really unique gauge cluster there, kind of funky looking. And of course you can do comfort, you can do smart modes. All these kind of determine your driving experience and the level of throttle aggressiveness and suspension tuning and stiffness and all that stuff. There's some wood grain in the interior. It's all real wood, but funnily enough, the wood on the steering wheel looks kind of fake plasticky, even though it's real. Not a big fan of this iteration of it, but I guess it's okay. Everything else, though, feels pretty nice. There's a consistency to the buttons and how they push and how they operate, and everything has a nice touch. All the touch points are really cool. There's this cool little plastic aluminum feeling texture everywhere on every button. This I think it's a 17 speaker Lexicon sound system. Sounds pretty nice. Anyway, the features of this go on and on. We have just about everything you'd want. Really nice cruise control system. Let's take this for a little bit of a drive here. Get it on the road. Nice reverse camera, 360 views. You have lots of different visibility there. And as you'll see once we get on the road, when you put your turn signal on, you get a little view of, each mirror has a camera in that. Now Honda has a similar system, but it's only for the passenger side, which I've always thought was kind of funny. This completes it with the driver's and passenger side. I think it's especially useful when you're autocrossing your K900 and you need to see how close you are getting to your cone apexes in the slalom. I think that would be a really useful feature for that. Otherwise, on day-to-day use, I guess it's okay for seeing if someone's in your blind spot or not, but pretty cool. Everyone's talking about the Marie Lacroix Swiss watchmaker clock in here. Whatever. It's kind of a cool thing now that all luxury vehicles have. So setting off, what's it like in the Kia K900? Now I haven't always been as big of a fan of Kia's K900 luxury car when compared to the Genesis G90. I thought the G90 was just a better overall execution. But this is pretty darn good. They've really kind of pulled all the stops out on this. And for just shy of 65 grand, this is a heck of a bargain. It's smooth. There's a lot of refinement here. It's quiet. It drives nicely. The 8-speed transmission does a really good job operating and giving you the gears that you want and using that torque from the 3.3-liter twin-turbo V6 to just pull you out of corners. This thing wafts around, so to speak. Now you can see where Kia has saved some money on this car compared to the Germans. It's definitely a difference in quality with interior materials and everything. But the driving experience is still very nice. These are going to be an absolute steal as a used buy someday. Kia doesn't expect to sell a bunch of these, but it's kind of think of it as a little bit of a marketing exercise on what the company and what the brand can do. And they can do some pretty cool things. I think for a long time, Kia's been battling this assumption that they can't quite make quality vehicles, but as we know now, that's quickly becoming the opposite of the case. And with this, they're showing off a little bit, I think. Let's throw it into sport mode here. I can immediately feel the steering tighten up a little bit. The seat bolsters stiffened up, squeezing my kidneys just a little bit more. We have the RPMs displayed digitally there. There's a little bit of turbo lag, but once those two turbos spool up, you get a pretty decent amount of shove. And it pulls hard. This is a good amount of power. Let's throw it into Eco, calm down for a minute. I think this is an especially interesting gauge cluster display just because it's so unique. Very little road noise, very little wind noise. Super comfortable over bumps. I would describe the K900 as overall supple in its road manners and feel throughout the cabin. Decent turning radius for how big this thing is. Better than the Ford Ranger last night that I was testing. But as you would expect, you're very isolated in here. You feel nice and cozy, and I cannot give high enough marks for this infotainment. It's pretty awesome. You can kind of decide where you want to place certain things here, whether it's your climate control, your GPS, your audio. Apple CarPlay is easy to get into. Of course, I see a lot of similarities between this and Mercedes system and some other manufacturers, but this is a really good way to lay everything out, and I like the fact that you can use this as both a scroll wheel and a touchscreen, and the touchscreen's close enough that you can actually reach for it. And of course, while you're using all of these systems, you're going to want a good radar-guided cruise control system and lane keep assist system to keep you from crashing, and that's exactly what this has. So let's put it into normal here, comfort. So I haven't really messed around with this too much, but right now the way this car is set up is when you put it into cruise control, it automatically will do radar guided cruise control and lane keep assist. It'll keep you nicely centered in the lane, and it'll do a little bit of steering for you. And the car, I'm not sure what the semi-truck's doing, the car will actually steer for you for a surprisingly long amount of time. I haven't touched the wheel since we got onto the highway, and it's just prompting me now to keep my hands on the steering wheel, which I think is pretty cool. So you can really use this. Let's say you want to go into Apple CarPlay. Let's listen to some music here. Go into our sound test, and let's start from Pink Mirrors. Take it from the top. This Lexicon sounds great, no complaints. I'm sure you can go in and adjust the sound system and the quality as much as you want in settings. Yeah, you can go in here, position, equalizer, priority, system volume, tons and tons of adjustability throughout this car. Probably one of my favorite things about this screen is how big Waze gets. You can see everything. It's great. Alright, enough of that. Sport mode. Get a little bit of handling action here. There is some torque vectoring going on here with this all-wheel drive system. The K900 is only available in the US with all-wheel drive. And as we get some tire squeal there, I can feel the seatbelt tighten up on me. Guys, this thing is awesome. This is fun. Kind of has a little bit of dual personality. Like I said, I never really used to dig the old Kia K900s. I thought they were a little bit half-assed here and there. They didn't quite come together as a nice, complete package like the G90 does. But this is very, very good and completely fixes my issues with the old ones. It's very well rounded. There are not many inconsistencies in quality throughout this vehicle. Everything just... It delivers the goods, so to speak. Very comfortable, really quiet, nice over bumps, and very little wind noise, cabin intrusion, all that good stuff. NVH stuff is taken care of. You know, I think where this falls short compared to other high-end luxury cars. It's just the feel of the interior quality. There's a lot of plastics here, and you know, the wood grain and the leather are very nice and soft, but still, you're getting a lot of car for 65 grand. A lot of car. That's pretty cool. You can switch between. You have two, not one, but two heated steering wheel modes. Unfortunately, though, I don't know why manufacturers stopped doing this, but you can no longer turn on the heated seats and the cooled seats at the same time. I think I've always thought that's kind of the pinnacle of automotive luxury. But that's okay, I guess. You know, nothing's perfect. Yeah, the ride quality, the suspension tuning in this is phenomenal. It's soft, it's comfortable. Finally, a luxury vehicle that isn't overly stiff. Really well composed, not floaty in any way, but also just soaks everything up. I'm not crazy about the turn signal and indicator sound, but that's all right. All-wheel drive system does a really good job putting its power down, and as you can hear back there, engine's pretty responsive. No complaints about this transmission. This engine is great, tons of power. Fuel economy numbers will be in the description. I believe you could probably expect around 18 to 20 combined in this car, depending on how and where you drive it. If it's in the city, you're probably going to get under that. If it's on the highway, you're probably going to get a little bit over that. I honestly haven't driven this enough to get accurate real-world fuel economy, but I'm just a couple gallons under full in this car, and I still have 400 miles left in the tank, which is pretty awesome. At least that's the estimated. Let's take it into, I'm not really sure if I'm going to do a night drive on this car. I did post something to Winding Road, so be sure to check out the night drive on that channel. But let's go into the parking structure here and get an idea for what this thing looks like in the dark, because it does look pretty cool. I'm getting a little bit of creaking and noise from the plastics in the back occasionally. I'm not sure if that's just because it was cold out and now the car's warm and everything's expanding and contracting, but only occasionally. Overall, this car has been super solid this week for me. And I just love how smooth and quiet the drivetrain is on this. I'm really glad that Kia has been able to find a balance in refinement for a vehicle of this caliber. I really, I think we've all kind of been rooting for the brand for a while, and they're doing some good stuff these days. It was really one of the most impressive things that I've driven lately in the sporty sedan segment was the Stinger GT, except for the dang rattle in the back. But I think Kia's putting out some good stuff these days, and this K900 I don't think should be overlooked. Alright, let's see if we can get into a darker area here. Show you guys some stuff. This looks pretty dark over here. Okay. Press the P button to park. Yeah, I've not averaged good gas mileage this week. 14 MPG. It's because I've only been filming videos with this car. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, you can really customize it here. So anyway, that's the Kia K900 in a nutshell. I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts on this car. Really good value for the money. Lots to poke around and have fun with in here. Really, really feature rich. I'm not really sure what else could be added to something like this, except for full autonomy. But even the lane keep assist and the radar cruise control and all that stuff works incredibly well as is. Great powertrain, really comfortable. These seats are phenomenal. Tons of adjustability in here too. Yeah, high marks for the new Kia K900. Job well done. And it even plays you a song when you're done driving it. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video. And I do like that it's a little bit understated looking. It's a nice design. It doesn't really copy anything. It's pretty unique. Yeah. All right, see you guys. Thanks again.